Well, folks, this is going to be a long one. Uh, you can say that it's a rant, a vlog, kind of that sort. Um, Basic YouTube drama of sorts, but it's actually quite silly, and I'm not really mad at this. I just find it very interesting, very stupid, and petty. Let's get into it. Or I should say first is that if you're not into this kind of videos and stuff, watch something else, anything else besides this. Trust me, you'll have a wonderful time if you pick something that is catered to your interest, you know. But for those who care to want to know what this big hoopla is about, what this silly grin on my face is about, this nonsense, stay tuned. I will start the video more or less. So, anyways, so what this is about, this takes place of this conversation between me and another person who happens to be on YouTube. You know, of course, this is all YouTube plan. Okay, it's in the comment sections. Uh, Anyways, this person's name is Crusader Kaiser 2000. Yeah, he also has that Chad faced, Beeb as his channel ID and stuff. Yeah, and it's not really original whatsoever. Same guy. And didn't get that guy's permission to use it. And also his banner, which will note that he is definitely a Trumper. You know, it's like, oh, when Trump supposedly got shot in the ear. By the way, he didn't get shot in the ear. It hit the monitor and the glass came up and cut him. So yeah, it was actually glass fiber. It's not a bullet. Da-da-da. Anyways, besides that, this whole thing takes place within one thread of one particular video. So the video in question, or actually it's a YouTube short, yeah, kind of ridiculous. I know the comments section of YouTube and YouTube shorts, especially the shorts, is unhinged. So, anyways, this particular YouTuber was a series of shorts that was basically talking about um, and reporting on what the hell is going on with the audience seeing, the new Minecraft movie. So yeah, there's nothing problematic with the movie itself. The problematic part is the audience. The audience are being disruptive, screaming and yelling, throwing shit at the screen, and a lot of it is hitting people in the back of the head and stuff, and creating huge messes everywhere, throwing soda and popcorn and everything else, and and going crazy over being angry over certain stupid things that are in the film. Being all fucking, either really excited or really butthurt over stupid shit that's in the movie. So, this particular thread that I saw kind of interesting was specifying, like, well, talking about what was the video about, saying that this is disrespectful and all that, I didn't notice at the time there was a whole list of people that posted, and they were having their own little beef, so there was people who were disgusted with the whole thing, and there was people saying, it's their job, you're supposed to clean it up, and all this, and people saying, I don't like having a job that makes me do work, and I don't like, people making messes or giving me more work to do. And it's like, and the people on the other side is like, well, there's job security, dumbass. Well, they didn't say dumbass, but they said job security. And then, it's just bantering. I have no idea, blah, 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 going back and forth. I didn't know this was going on. And I posted something, something very, tame or whatever, saying, yes, this is silly, but it is job security, and it is dreadful that people act this way. It wasn't really long-winded like this video is. So, anyways, so yeah, so now here comes the drama. roll in the drama, please. So, anyways, you caught Crusader Kaiser 2000. What an original name there. You know, like he's a kid. Yeah. Like, with the whole thing and stuff, and that Trumper is like, yeah. And then attacking me about, what I comment and saying that I should not, you know, uh, basically, side with whoever, whatever. It's like you shouldn't be siding with those people. It's like what, you know. And I noticed that this person's pissed off because I specified as job security, and they say it's not job security, like all this shit, get all fucking butthurt and stuff. And I've written a reply to him specifying why it is. And I said, even with like this video about why it would be a job security. And he said, I'm not a janitor. Like, I never said you were, dipshit. So, he's claiming that I called him a janitor. It's like, no, he's implying to himself that. I said, it's stupid. And I noticed my replies back and forth to him and stuff, they get disappeared. And he keeps on replying to the ones that just magically disappeared. And I know it's him probably doing is reporting, reporting my comments. So only his comments will get shown. And also, all of his comments against me instantly got a thumbs up. Instantaneously, same second. It's like, yeah. Bravo, you like your own shit. So anyways, this beef, and I just keep on reiterating and also going in detail about why it's job security. And I go, okay, let's put it into your perspective. Since he told me that he's not a janitor, but he is server support. Yes, I know what server support is, dipshit. And one of your jobs is to clean, but so is everyone else's. Even if you're a server, you're supposed to clean up your station, you dipshit, before you leave and stuff. Like, even with closing, everyone has to do their part, has to clean up. It's not just the dishwasher or the dish boy, and stuff like that. It's not just any of these people that are in the back have to do all the cleaning. It's also people in the front, even the manager, for the day and stuff. Whoever is the management of that moment whoever is the closer, has to also clean their station and stuff. So is everybody else. No big fucking deal. All right? He's making a big deal and trying to take up the whole thing of what was going on in the audience of, of the Minecraft movie that had been going crazy, and implying it that if it happens, in his restaurant, that it would not be considered job security. That it would just hinder him, because he's one of those people that's a snowflake that doesn't like actual work, doesn't like the fact that there's a need for him to still work. I even specified about this of why things are considered job security. If you don't like it, so what? This is what it is. Simply put, stating that if there is a need or a demand for work to be done, and if it's continuously, the employment will continue to get higher for said job. And that's job security. So if you're employed and there is a constant need for you to keep on being employed by your employer, by your job and stuff, then that is job security, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter if someone or something comes in, but I did specify if someone or something came in and destroyed it. Yeah, that's a tragedy, and that's not really acceptable. Yeah, you would be pissed. I did specify that. It's like, look, thinking on their side, the ones that have to deal with this destruction and they have to clean it up, you're going to feel bad, but it's still job security, because now the have something to do, or to continue. It's like, that's not all I have to do, but yeah, and I didn't even specifying, like, if there is no need for work, for that work, if it ends altogether, like, if it ends altogether, then there would be no employment. The employer will end up firing people. I even put it in his perspective of being, server support. So you're a server support, big deal. So now, let's put it this way. Your restaurant, if you have, if there is customers still coming in and stuff, and there is a need for you to still have a job, then therefore you have a job, and that would be considered is job security, because customers are going to the restaurant and buying and eating there and stuff. So you still have a job. But here's the thing: if everything that has to do with your job, if there is nothing for you to ever do, why would a company keep you employed? That is the thing that people don't get, especially this person don't get. Is like, how can you have a job with a business when there is nothing for you to fucking do? Like, literally, what, you stand there and do jack shit, and they're gonna pay you for hours for doing nothing? No, you're gonna get your ass fired. They're just gonna lay you off or fire your ass. That simple. That's just how it works. From his own admissions that he doesn't have that job, his restaurant closed, he's the one that put that out, not me. So, I did specify, like, well, if this trend continues, and there ends up being no customers whatsoever, first it was like, if the customers dwindle and stuff to where it doesn't need as many employees to work there, and so things are going to be cut, such as hours and such like this, and probably even layoffs, just what happens. They don't need that many people to do the job. They're not going to stay in business if there's no customers. It's like, okay, you have a restaurant full of employees standing around, no customers, nothing to do. Why is this still a thing, the owner of a restaurant is not going to accept that. So anyways, so if this trend continues from dwindling down to absolute nothing, so it's continuous now that this trend continues where there's no customers in sight for this restaurant. Nobody's calling up for orders. Nothing's coming in. Was there a point for you having a job there? It's not like what you think. It's what the employer, thinks, the owner of the restaurant, So, yeah, the owner of the restaurant is going to make some major cuts, which is going to lead to layoffs and firing and stuff like that, and closing of that restaurant. By the way, he admitted that's what happened. Although he works at a restaurant chain, and his location was shut down. I wouldn't be surprised if his attitude is also probably the reason why he probably still doesn't have a job. That's in case if he still doesn't have a job. I don't know. But it's implying from, his angrily, discourse is that's the case. But here's kind of the really ridiculous thing. Of all of our discourse back and forth, I know this is kind of long, and it's also kind of silly, is my comments and stuff, even if, he doesn't like them, they just automatically disappear, Even when I know clearly he saw it, he commented on it, but yet what I commented and his reply to it, that comment that I made disappeared. But yet it got him so fucking butthurt. Imagine that. petty, isn't it? You can say, well, could it have been YouTube? That comment was, the ones that disappeared, they were up there for quite some time until he came back on. Then they all of a sudden disappeared. I noticed. It's like it disappeared, and then all of a sudden, within a few seconds, there's his posting. It's like, what? Yeah. As soon as he made a reply, going and bantering, yeah, all of my replies to him and trying to re-reply disappeared. How fascinating is that? So anyways, and also, by the way, all of his replies and his comments against me and stuff, aimed towards at me, automatically all got a thumbs up instantaneously. If that's not a clue that you liked all of his videos. No, his videos, because he doesn't have any. His comments, I should say. Excuse me. So, yeah. So anyways, that's kind of the silly part, it's like, okay. And this big old Chad dipshit, who doesn't have any videos whatsoever, and, would really want to follow him anyways. Just other, like-minded people, I guess. So anyways, with him. Now, it's just silly, and it's still going on, and I notice he's fuming. So much fuming, even with this last comment, and he's still continuing commenting against me over comments that he reported against. Yeah. So anyways, when here's like kind of the problem where I first noticed this was going on and stuff, I didn't jump to the conclusions that this person is the one that's doing this, of, reporting it. But it is a very clear sign, especially when, I have a comment that was on until this guy posted, replying to it, my original comment disappeared. Yeah. That's very telling. That is extremely telling. That's what he's did. How I know for certain? Can't. So here is in line with the problem, like what is with YouTube. All right, YouTube is a thing that's been going on for a long time, and it's been getting worse this year, and it's also with last year too. And it's just getting worse and worse as the years go on. And I noticed that it's not just one, it's several problems. One, it's people that get too fucking butthurt over what other people say, start reporting on other people's videos or comments because they don't like it. They get fucking butthurt. But this other one that has to do with the algorithm itself is that it's not just me. Other people have been having this where you type something. I already did specify this before, probably multiple times, that, you comment something, even if it's on your own video and it has no views or anything. Sometimes YouTube will let it be and let it be on there. And other times YouTube's like, no, it just disappears. And then you refresh or it's still not there. And sometimes it will let it stay there. And then the next time you go to it or whatever, it reposts it several times. Like, I didn't do that, but it did. It just redid it over like multiple times. And this is a thing that's been happening on the app and also on the website itself. It doesn't matter if I'm on a computer, laptop, or tablet or phone. I've been having this kind of the same exact problem on all devices, different apps and whatnot, the different YouTube apps, and also straight through the browser. Doesn't matter which browser I use. I've tried every single browser. Yeah. even Microsoft Edge. God, I hate it. That's a whole other thing. So anyways, there's that. And the other problem, continuing on with this, with the algorithm and stuff, it's sometimes that you keep on reposting, like you copy save the exact same post and it disappears each time. You just keep on doing it. And then all of a sudden, it just, all of them show up of what you post. It's like, you still, that you just want to go, oh, YouTube, smack, got mad because of that. Like, anyways, there's that problem and stuff. And here's the other one, is have to do with seeing anything being reported. So no matter which way I got onto YouTube, and go on my channel and stuff, I can see the reports that I made, all the list of reports that I've made. But I cannot see who is it from. What I should say is I cannot see is reports done against me. Especially if it's comments. Comments, no. I never see any reports against any one of my comments. There's none of them disappeared. It's they don't exist. Because I'm still wondering, but since what this issue with Crusader Kaiser 2000, it seems too suspicious of being, okay, he's reporting on my comments. So, that is my assertion on this, that this is the case. It's how come that you're able to comment on my reply on my comment, reply to my comment, and yet that comment that I made disappears, and it also contradicts everything that you were asserting. How about that? Destroy the evidence of the one that you're accusing and also going against. How about that? Because also within the reply of reports, it still also doesn't show is any of your videos reported. The only way you can see about your videos being reported is going through your list of videos that you uploaded and stuff and seeing which ones have been flagged. That's the only way you can see. But under the list of the section where it's your reports and stuff, you only see the reports that you made, not anything made towards any of your comments or videos. Because your comments, if they get reported on, they just disappear into the ether and you have no idea why or cannot see it. It just disappears into nothingness. How about that? And there's no way of finding out. And of course, YouTube is horrendous about not actually getting back to you, especially if you're a smaller channel. If you're a larger channel, you have to have some connections with the higher ups of YouTube to basically get around this automated BS to get someone, real, to actually discuss it and find out that will actually do something, not like, nope, we're just going to auto reply you on the same exact reply that you've been given, saying, ha ha, in a sense, So that's kind of it. I know it's kind of silly, it's kind of petty on this guy, but you can say, oh, you're being kind of petty too because you keep on replying, but I just keep on restating what I did. All I did was just put, correcting of his and saying, no, I did not assert that as what your claim, and this is what I said. And he deletes it, gets it deleted, reports it. So deletes, It's either him doing the reporting or YouTube is shadow banning, your shit and stuff. It's one or the other. But it's also very mysterious that he keeps on replying against of my last comment that I made towards him. Because he does make some mention about it, which means that yes, he's seen it, but clearly he is not reading it. Imagine my surprise by that. So, I know that this is kind of long-winded and silly, and it's going on, 25, almost 26 minutes. I know it's kind of stupid and stuff like that. It's like, whatever. But if you see any videos like this from me again and you don't really care about it, don't watch them. Please don't. It's just me ranting. And most of it is usually just for my own entertainment. If you like this kind of shite and stuff, just, you can thumbs up it and like, whatever. I don't care. You can thumb down it. I don't care. You can post or comment. Hell, comment about whatever. Literally have a goddamn, tabletop game in the comments. I would love to see that. Anyone have like any ideas for anything, just post it about like what kind of videos you would like to see or whatever you want. Hell, spam the system about like putting the whole entire script for the B movie or whatever. I wouldn't mind. I would find it hilarious. And no, I would not ban any of that. If it ends up in my my mailbox on the channel about comments need to be reviewed, I'm gonna automatically let those comments go through because just put in any kind of ridiculous shite that you want, whatever. Talk about anything you want in the comments. I don't mind. You can do that with any of my videos too, by the way. I wouldn't mind. But I would like to see somebody being creative in any way. So, I know it's now going, 27 to 28. This is getting too long. But, so if you like, you like. You don't, you don't. If you want to follow, go ahead. If not, whatever. So, till then, bye-bye!